Good morning and Happy New Year. It is lovely to be here again. I'm talking to you, and I hope that you have been able to come back to school and spend some time with your colleagues, your friends, and with your teachers. What a funny world we're living in when we still don't know what's going to happen next week. It's very confusing, but this is our very special day today when we remember an event that happened at the end of Christmas. And I thought that because I haven't been with you for a little while and I haven't been able to hear your views, I might try and ask you some questions anyway, and then maybe you can keep a tally between you and we'll see who wins, who gets all the answers right. So first things first, I'm recording this for a special day, which is the 6th of January. Now that's Wednesday. So I know some of you might not see this on Wednesday, but the 6th of January is a Wednesday this year. Now, why do I think that's a special day? That's my first question. Why is the 6th of January a special day? Okay. Second question, connected to the first. How long does Christmas last? Now, we have asked this question of you many times over the years, so most of you should know the answer. How long does Christmas last? Okay. Third question. You ready? Okay. Third question is, what happened in Bethlehem on this day? What happened in Bethlehem on this day in the Christmas story? Lots of things happened on this day, but what happened in the Christmas story on this day? Right, I'm going to have to answer those three questions before we can carry on. So, are you ready? First question, why is the 6th of January so important? Because it is the day that we call Epiphany, which is when we remember the wise men, the Magi, arriving to see Jesus. Okay, how many days does Christmas last? It lasts for 12 days, the 12 days of Christmas, which is why there's a song. So this is the last day. At the very end, you've had 12 days of Christmas, and then you have this day when the wise men arrive. So last night was called 12th night, and you should have taken all your decorations down. So I hope you have, because otherwise you're going to have to keep them up all year. Okay, third question. What happened in Bethlehem on this day? Well, according to the stories in the Bible, this is the day when the wise men, the Magi, or as we sometimes call them, kings, arrived in Bethlehem, and they went first to King Herod to ask where the king was, the new baby was. And of course, he was not happy, and he sent them off to find the king so he could worship him. And we know that's not what he wanted to do. So what did the king, Herod, want to do once the wise men had found the new king? What was his plan? My next question for you. Okay, how many wise men were there, by the way? Any idea? How many does it say that there were? Trick question, that one. Trick question. So I hope you got it right. Last question. What did the wise men bring to the baby? And for extra bonus points, what were those things there to represent? What do they stand for, those three things? Okay. Have you had long enough? Last question was, what did they bring? What three things did they bring, and what did they stand for? Okay, I'm not going to wait any longer, so if you need to pause, then pause at this point. So, King Herod, he wasn't really a proper king. He'd been given the job by the Romans to keep everyone happy. But he did not want to go and worship this new king that the wise men had found. He wanted to get rid of the new king because he didn't want to be threatened by him. So what did he do? Do you know? His plan, which didn't work, well, it sort of did work, was to get rid of all the babies in the area. And it says in the Bible that after the wise men had left, because they'd been warned by an angel not to go back to Herod and tell him where they'd found Jesus, what they did was Herod sent his soldiers into the town and killed all the small children. Not a nice story. And actually, there's no evidence in history that that actually happened. It's just a really horrible thought, and it shows how much Herod wanted to keep control and didn't want the idea of anybody else threatening his kingship. So that's not a very nice one, but well done if you got that right. Next question, how many wise men were there? Okay, so the song goes, we three kings of Orient are, one in a taxi, one in a car, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Shouldn't do. So we three kings we talk about, well, they weren't kings, they were wise men, magi, who used to study the stars, and they really existed. There used to be people called magi who studied the stars and saw special things happening in the sky, and they saw those two stars come together, and it was such a bright star they wanted to know why it was there. But it doesn't tell us anywhere in the story that there were three of them. That's why it's a trick question. They brought three gifts, but it just says wise men came travelling. There could have been 2, there could have been 50. We don't know how many came, but they did travel. And I think this bit of the story is probably true. I reckon that they did see the star and they were intrigued by it and they travelled, and that's why that story is there for us to think about. So last question then, which is in 2 parts. What did they bring? What did they bring baby Jesus? Nothing practical, no cosy swaddling bands, no dummy, no cuddly toy, no nappies. They brought gold, they brought incense, and they brought myrrh. Lovely. Well, I don't have the opportunity to share those smells with you because frankincense and myrrh both smell amazing, but maybe one day in the near future I'll be able to send you down the smell of frankincense and myrrh. So gold is for a king. Yes, we all got that one, I hope. Frankincense is an incense, and they used to burn incense in buildings that they used for worship, so in the temple or in gathering spaces. And we still can use incense in our churches, and it smells amazing. It's quite strong, but it smells amazing. So the incense was to show that Jesus was not just a king, but he was also a holy person, a priest. And finally, myrrh. Now, myrrh is an ointment, and it smells lovely, but also quite potent and strong. And it was used when you put a body into a cave or into the ground, but usually into a cave if you had a bit of money, to bury them when they died. And they would wrap the body up and they would push in things like myrrh so it didn't smell terrible while it was decomposing. So that's a lovely, lovely gift for a baby, isn't it? A bit of myrrh just to remind him that he was going to die. Nice. The reason that the myrrh is important for us is because it talks about what Jesus was going to become. A king, not of this world, but of the whole world. Not an earthly king, but a king of the whole universe. A priest, a holy person who would teach us how to live. And a sacrifice, someone who was going to die to show us that the best and most amazing things that we can do are live lives of sacrifice, to put ourselves second and others first. So gold, frankincense and myrrh for a baby, weird gifts, but highly significant. And that is what I want you to remember today. Today we get to the end of Christmas. We've put all the tinsel and trappings of Christmas away, but we still welcome our King, who came to show us love and sacrifice. So I'm not going to say a prayer now. What I'm going to ask is that you, one of you in your class or in your bubble, chooses to reflect on what it might be like to live following a king who leads by showing love and sacrifice. And I will see you again very soon. Have a good week. Bye-bye.